CBS 6 News begins right now with a breaking news alert.
Breaking news causing concern across the country tonight. A possible hot air balloon crash in Central Virginia. These are pictures that were sent to us of that balloon shortly after it caught fire. Good evening, I'm Bill Fitzgerald.
I'm Stephanie Rochon. Investigators say a pilot and at least 2 passengers are missing after that balloon caught fire shortly before 8 o'clock tonight. The Caroline County Sheriff's Office and State Police are searching the area around Meadow Event Park, even from the air, where the Mid-Atlantic Balloon Festival was being held this evening. Police were called in when people said they saw a balloon on fire. We have team coverage tonight for you.
We begin with Chelsea Rarick, who joins us live from the Meadow Pavilion. And Chelsea, what have police said about the evidence of that crash?
Well, police haven't given much details yet, but here's what we know right now. Troopers and other crews are actively searching the ground for any possible wreckage. They tell us that based on witness accounts, it appears that a hot air balloon caught fire on the gondola portion of the balloon. Witnesses also say it crashed somewhere off Ruther Glen Road. That's northeast here of the Meadow Event Fairground. Once again, troopers are continuing to search. The FAA is also on scene assisting with this investigation. Now, right now, there are no injuries or deaths confirmed, but state police do tell us they believe that a pilot and 2 passengers were on that hot air balloon, and here's what they know about them so far.
And we've been actively searching since we received notice of this shortly before 8 o'clock. At this point, we've found no wreckage. We have no confirmation of any injuries or deaths. However, based on witness accounts, it does appear that a hot air balloon did catch fire.
Once again, troopers still searching for any type of wreckage, and based on witness accounts that the gondola portion of that hot air balloon caught fire. We were expecting to get an update around 10:40 on any more details, but we're still awaiting those from state police. Guys.
Chelsea, we've also heard that the event is now canceled for the weekend. Have you been able to talk to anybody who was visiting that area? What's the mood like there now?
Well, it's really empty here right now, but I was talking to event organizers earlier today who did tell me that the event for this weekend has been canceled. They really couldn't say anything else, but they did want to reiterate that the event was canceled, and they apologize for anyone who had purchased tickets in advance, Steph.
Thank you, Chelsea. And now we go to our John Burkett, who continues our team coverage now. He's been following the search crews for the past few hours.
And as we told you earlier, the balloon originated from the Meadow Event Park, but one of the areas that police were intensively searching was further north off Ruther Glen Road. Now, John's about 7 miles from Meadow Event Park in a place called Dry Bridge Road, and that's where witnesses say they saw debris falling around the time others say they saw the balloon on fire. And John, have you been able to corroborate any of that?
Actually, we moved, Bill. Very dense and rugged terrain off of Brownstone Road is where we're at right now. We followed Bowling Green volunteer firefighters back here because there is a Henrico search plane circling above that alerted these firefighters to a possible brush fire in this area where we're standing. You can see the brake lights a little bit further down the road. That's where those volunteer firefighters are right now. As you mentioned, we came off of Old C&C Road in Caroline County. We ran into a woman who witnessed that hot air balloon fly over top of her house, and she said she even witnessed some of the debris falling from that balloon.
Oh my gosh.
Take a listen.
Just like a firework or something like that, and then we remembered that the balloon festival was in Doswell, and all of a sudden my boyfriend, came running out, and he's like, "Oh my God!" He's like, "Look at the sky!" He's like, "The balloon's on fire." And all we seen was just stuff like falling from the sky, the basket, the balloon, everything was on fire. And I said, "Oh, please God, tell me that there's not anybody in there. I don't want to, know any of that somebody's hurt." And all of a sudden we just started seeing stuff falling from the sky.
And you don't know what you saw falling?
No, I don't.
A volunteer firefighter from Bowling Green telling me he's got video of the actual balloon, not the basket, but the balloon floating off towards King William County. That volunteer firefighter is out here in the woods. Again, they've been alerted to this area off of Brownstone Drive in Caroline County by a plane circling overhead. They are looking for a brush fire in this heavily, this dense woods here off of Brownstone Road. We'll keep you updated on how that is going. We're going to go a little bit further down here in just a few minutes to see what they have found. Reporting live in Caroline County, John Burkett, CBS 6 News.
Thank you, John, and we will check back in with both John and Chelsea a little later. Right now, investigators are looking into many possible factors, including the possibility of bad weather.
We want to bring our chief meteorologist, Zach Daniel, into the conversation now. And Zach, you were at the balloon festival earlier today. Police say they received a report of this possible crash at about 7:56 tonight. What were the weather conditions like in that part of Caroline County around that time?
Well, here's what Doppler radar showed. We did have a few little showers trying to develop back to the west, about 8 to 10 miles south and west of Doswell. I've got a red circle around Meadow Event Park, and these showers likely really wouldn't have affected it too much, the conditions out ahead of this. If these storms were more robust, had more intense updrafts, and that would have created more of an easterly flow and quite possibly could have pushed the balloon back to the west. Of course, all of this is speculation. Here is, again, more of a speculative look at what the possible balloon flight path could have been. There's Meadow Event Park. That's right where the balloon took off. That's where all the balloons would have taken off from. And then the winds were south-southwesterly, so this does make sense that it would have traveled up to the north-northeast. And this is the intersection of Ruther Glen Road and Signboard Road, where one of the initial reports was of the possible crash site. Again, this is all speculation about a 3-mile track, and we'll see if this ends up panning out. But that's what the conditions were. Winds 7 to 11 miles per hour, not particularly strong at the time. The weather's calmed down now, which will help the search efforts. Just a little bit of light and occasionally moderate rainfall. We'll cover more in your forecast for the weekend and beyond in a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Zach, for that. Well, this story, as we said at the top of the newscast, is making headlines across the country at this hour. Many people wondering if their loved ones who were headed to the festival might be part of the crash.
Melissa Hippolyte has been taking calls in the newsroom. She's in our newsroom now with this part of our team coverage. And Melissa, we talked to a man who called from Albuquerque, New Mexico at one point.
Yes, we did. I believe he told us that his loved one had been accounted for. However, I've talked to 2 different sets of loved ones who are tied to the same pair of women who are not accounted for at this point. One man told me his fiance went up in one of the balloons at the festival tonight, and he is trying to find out if she might have been inside the balloon that went down. I have also heard from a close friend of that very same girl who says she has still not been accounted for, and her friend who went up with her has also not been reached. The pair, according to this friend, went up with a pilot. Now, as we wait to find out what exactly happened today, I found some information on USA Today's website about hot air balloon accidents. According to the article, the National Transportation Safety Board has investigated 760 hot air balloon accidents in the United States. People died in 67 of those crashes. The last 2 fatal accidents involved poor weather. A Federal Aviation Administration spokesman who talked to the paper told them the FAA regulates hot air balloons and pilots must be certified. The article goes on to say that pilots must demonstrate proficiency in emergency skills and go through flight review every 2 years. Again, we are hearing from friends and family of people who have not been accounted for from the balloon festival. I will let you know as soon as we learn more.
Thanks, Melissa. And we have been getting a lot of pictures sent to us as well from people who were in that area at the time that they saw the balloon catch fire. And we have a new picture that we want to show you.
This came in just moments ago from a woman who says she saw 2 people jumping from that burning gondola. She said she snapped this picture immediately. You can see she's fairly close to the balloon as it appears to be headed down on fire. Again, she says she saw 2 people jumping from that site. And again, as Stephanie just said, we are getting pictures in by the minute in different stages. People seem to have taken a lot of pictures of this balloon while it was ablaze. This is the clearest one yet, and it seems to capture a horrifying story. And we continue to monitor this developing story. We'll be bringing you new pictures as we get them. But remember, you can be the first to get the latest update by downloading the Breaking News app for your smartphone or tablet.
And we're constantly posting updates on our website, WTVR.com. We'll bring you more on the balloon accident later in the newscast. Now, more breaking news to tell you about tonight, this time from Colonial Heights, where we learned a 69-year-old man missing since Thursday morning was found dead. Police say the body of Michael Romanek was pulled from the Appomattox River late this afternoon. Police say they're treating this as a death investigation, and right now they do not know how he died. Romanek's wife says he had Parkinson's disease and that a recent change in his medication may have affected him.
And the search for a possible missing plane in Gloucester County is now over. The sheriff's office there says they got a call around 4 o'clock about a plane that could be in distress from the Newport News Williamsburg Airport. State police say extensive searches were then conducted by ground, air, and water. Again, this was around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, but nothing was found. At 6:30, the search was suspended. An outpouring of support this morning for the family of an 8-year-old Richmond boy killed behind his Brandon Road home last week. Mourners gathered for Marty Cobb's funeral at Mims Funeral Home. He was buried in a new suit donated by VSU football coach Latrell Scott. The Cobb family says Marty was beaten to death May 1st when he tried to protect his 12-year-old sister from an attacker. Police have arrested a 16-year-old boy for Cobb's murder. And some of the mourners who attended the little boy's funeral say it was more than just a celebration of life. It was a call to action against violence in the city. Our Lorenzo Hall takes us inside that ceremony.
A final bow Friday afternoon to the 8-year-old South Richmond boy being called a tiny hero. About 400 Richmonders, many of them strangers, heard about Martin Cobb's death late last week and wanted to honor his memory, including this woman who says Martin's death brings back painful memories for her, and she wanted to show her support for Martin's mom.
I lost my son 10 years ago, so I know what she's going through. You know, just put her faith in God. And believe me, he'll bring her through.
Family members say Marty, as he's affectionately called, died while trying to protect his sister from an attack on May 1st behind their South Richmond home. Police say the suspect in custody right now is a 16-year-old boy. Since that attack, Marty's heroic act has caught the attention of many, including Congressman Eric Cantor.
A real hero lived.
Who honored Marty on the floor of the U.S. House Thursday, calling Marty a bigger man than most men ever dreamed to be. For that very reason, this community activist said he had to be part of this final goodbye.
We all are part of this. We're all a part of what has taken place. That was a little hero with a big heart.
Charles Willis tells us Marty, who was laid to rest in a white suit, sunglasses, and a gold necklace with a teddy bear in one hand and a bag of hot fries potato chips in the other, did not die in vain.
We as Citizens Against Crime are preparing to do something about it so that we'll be more proactive than reactive, so we won't fail again.
And that was our Lorenzo Hall reporting. A memorial fund has been set up for the Cobb family. Donations being accepted at any Wells Fargo branch in Central Virginia. Just let the teller know you're donating to the Keys for Marty Fund.
Another devastating story we've been covering all week, and we told you this yesterday. U.S. Marshals arrested a fourth person in connection to the shooting death of a Richmond jewelry store clerk Monday.
Take a look. This is Paul Towns. Marshals arrested the 24-year-old here in Richmond. Like the others, he's charged with conspiracy to commit murder. The other 3 suspects were found Wednesday in North Carolina. One of them is Jesse Edmond. He's a convicted criminal who one man says robbed him at gunpoint years ago. Melissa Hippolyte spoke with that man tonight in this CBS 6 exclusive.
He decided to pull out one of them Gunsmoke guns.
Bert Cole forgives, but he doesn't forget.
So he was prepared to kill?
Oh, yeah.
Cole says he and a few friends were playing a friendly game of poker more than 10 years ago with Jesse Edmond when the game took a scary turn.
Jesse just got mad and wanted to rob everybody there.
Cole says Edmond robbed him and his friends and then threatened to kill them.
He said, I ain't gonna leave y'all to tell on me.
Before he could do that, though, Cole says he wrestled the gun away.
That's why I'm standing here today.
CBS 6 learned Edmond is now one of the suspects in the murder of a jewelry store employee.
He shouldn't have never been on the streets.
We pulled court records that show Jesse Edmond was charged with felony robbery in 2000 in Cole's case. The next year, he was convicted of grand larceny, and as part of a plea agreement, Edmond was given 15 years in prison, with 12 of them suspended.
He got 12 years suspended.
According to the Virginia Department of Corrections, Edmond was convicted of several other weapons and robbery crimes that date back all the way to 1982.
Let me see that.
Court documents also show that one of the other suspects in the jewelry store case, Anthony Leonard, also has a history of using guns to rob people. Back in 2006, Leonard was convicted of holding up a cab driver. CBS 6 spoke with that Manhattan taxi cab driver off camera. He told us Leonard and another man pretended to hail a cab and then pulled out a gun and demanded money. State records show 5 years of his sentence were suspended.
Okay, look.
2 criminal histories that show violent pasts and have Cole worried for public safety in downtown Richmond.
I feel they need more security than VCU.
And that was our Melissa Hippolyte reporting. Melissa spoke tonight with Muhammad Beg's wife. He's the victim. That's the wife of the victim. She gave birth to a baby girl the day after he was killed. She and her baby, both out of the hospital and doing well, but she told us she wants justice for her husband and she wants to know why he was killed. And she says she cannot forgive.
A Richmond rapper steps off the stage and into handcuffs. Police say they arrested this man, Edward Anderson, also known as Red Rum, immediately after his performance last night at the Richmond Coliseum. He's charged with failure to pay. Anderson was the opening act for rapper Lil Boosie. He'll be back in court in August.
If you live in Chesterfield, you may have seen one of these at the end of your driveway this morning. They're flyers supposedly from the Ku Klux Klan, claiming the hate group has been misunderstood. Viewers have told CBS 6 the flyers were spotted in the Ashton Woods South subdivision off Salem Church Road and in the Five Forks neighborhood off Centerbrook Lane. Neighbors tell us the flyers make them feel uncomfortable. Well, if you find them in your neighborhood, let us know on WTVR.com. R&B singer and Tappahannock native Chris Brown is on his way to jail. According to the Associated Press, Brown admitted to violating the terms of his probation, and he's going to be spending 131 days in jail. That's 4 months. Brown was convicted of beating singer Rihanna in 2009 and did community service in Richmond as part of his sentence. But he's also accused of assaulting a man outside a Washington, D.C. hotel. He goes on trial for that in June. We're waiting for more details on this probation violation. We'll have updates tonight a little later on WTVR.com.
Continuing coverage now of that balloon accident in Doswell. This is video. When we want to warn you that this may be hard to watch, but this is video of that balloon accident in Doswell this evening that is under investigation. You can see the basket of the balloon is on fire. We did have a woman report earlier that she saw 2 people jump from that balloon. State police saying that a pilot and 2 passengers are missing right now. They have not been able to locate any wreckage from this balloon or anyone who was on the balloon at the time of the fire, but we are continuing to cover this story. Let's go back to our John Burkett, who has a live update. John.
Stephanie, we've seen a gentleman go back and forth on ATV, and about 5 minutes ago, a state trooper came down this road. It's a road off of Brownstone Road, a heavily wooded area, very dense out here. They're brought to this location by a plane flying over. I'm told it's a Henrico County plane doing surveillance and may have seen a brush fire near this location. Back there from the Bowling Green Fire Department, a firefighter from the Bowling Green Fire Department tells me that they're deep in the woods back there, about 1 mile to 1.5 miles, and that they have not yet found that brush fire that plane is seeing, but that's why they're back there. Again, a state trooper 5 minutes ago rolling through here, an ATV with what looks like a volunteer firefighter on it rolling back out. We have not seen any fire trucks yet come back through here. We are very close to the area where a witness told us earlier that she saw the basket drop off of that hot air balloon. We'll keep you posted and let you know as more information becomes available. Reporting live in Caroline County, John Burkett, CBS 6 News.
Thank you, John, for that report. And again, we've been showing you pictures and video, that video that just came in moments ago that appear to show that gondola on fire. It's hard to know from that video whether it was actually coming towards us or almost looked like it was still rising. But again, as John pointed out, we have an eyewitness picture that said she's a woman saying she saw 2 people falling from that flaming wreckage. And in this particular video, you can see clearly it is burning. It is just hard to know whether it is still rising at this point or in fact it's actually coming down, because it could also be coming towards the camera. We're going to get an update from Virginia State Police in about 2 minutes. They'll be telling us hopefully some of that information you heard John talking about where state police may have seen a brush fire, if they've actually come upon a scene of burning embers or shards, perhaps something from that gondola.
The last news conference we had with state police, the spokesperson said that they had not been able to find any wreckage. They had not been able to find anyone injured as a result of this incident with the balloon. But hopefully with this new news conference, we'll get some more information, and that news conference is taking place now. Let's listen.
Good evening. I'm Corinne Geller with the Virginia State Police. Just wanted to provide you all with an update on the continuing search for a crashed hot air balloon here in Caroline County. Go ahead and start from the beginning and kind of walk you through it. It was shortly before 8 o'clock this evening when 3 hot air balloons took off from Meadow Event Park and traveled northeast from here, a couple of miles to a designated landing zone. It was a pre-designated approved landing zone. 2 of those 3 hot air balloons safely landed. As the 3rd balloon was making its approach, it did strike a power line and catch fire as a result of that contact. The pilot who was on board the hot air balloon immediately began using the safety maneuvers in an effort to try to get the fire under control, but also it's a mechanism of opening up the top of the balloon because the additional heat generated by that fire causes the hot air balloon to rapidly rise. In the process of that, there were witnesses tell us they heard 2 explosions from the hot air balloon, and at one point the gondola and the balloon separated, and then the balloon took off at a rapid pace. So at this time we are now searching for actually 2 crash or wreckage sites where the gondola landed and then where the balloon landed. We also know that there was a pilot and there were 2 passengers on board the hot air balloon. We have still not located the wreckage yet, nor have we located any of the individuals on that hot air balloon. We are continuing through the night. We have state troopers, we have Caroline County Sheriff's Office, as well as assistance from the Henrico County Police Department assisting us with the ground search. We also have air support from state police and also Henrico County Police, and we will continue searching through the night. What we are asking for the public's help is that anybody who may have seen this balloon in distress in the vicinity of the Caroline Pines subdivision, we're asking those folks to please call state police at 804-994-5754. Again, anyone who may have seen this balloon, this hot air balloon in distress around the Caroline Pines subdivision, to please call us at 804-994-5754 so we can get your name and your number and follow up with you as we're trying to put together perspectives of where the gondola may have landed and where the balloon may have landed. This is a very rural area because of the terrain, heavy woods, and also the darkness is kind of working against us right now in trying to locate these. However, we will continue working through the night with our various grid searches by air and on the ground in an effort to locate the individuals that were on this hot air balloon as well as the wreckage sites. Does anyone have any questions? Yes, we do have an idea, and we have been reaching out. We'll be reaching out to family members. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of information because we haven't located those wreckage sites. So we're hoping that folks in the area of Meadow Event Park and the Caroline Pine subdivision may be able to help us to really zero in on where the balloon landed as well as where the gondola came down.
From talking with witnesses, do you have any estimate that you're able to release about how high the hot air balloon was when it caught fire?
We do have some perspectives on that. I said as it was making its approaches when it came in contact with the power line, and then due to the fire that unfortunately caused the balloon to lift very quickly. And then of course the second explosion caused the gondola and the balloon to separate, and then the balloon took off at a very rapid rate. And that is based on us debriefing the other 2 pilots from the other 2 hot air balloons and then other individuals that have been in contact with us and that were in the vicinity at the time. So they've been able to provide us with a lot of really good information. However, it's a perspective issue. From people on the ground, there's actually mechanisms in place that can help us if they can tell us where they were standing and what they saw can actually give us that distance and that perspective of where they may have actually, came to the ground.
So you're not really able to nail it down at this point about how high it was?
I myself, no. I believe the folks on the ground are working with that information. But again, everyone's at different perspectives, and witness accounts are you're not expecting to see something like that. So, giving those judgments has varied greatly. Anybody else? No? All right.
For clarification, what agencies are helping them search?
Well, Virginia State Police, because it's an aircraft, we are the lead agency, but we're working very closely with our partners from the Caroline County Sheriff's Office, as well as Henrico County Police, and of course the Caroline County Fire and Rescue. We have several fire squads out there, fire and rescue departments. We also have the FAA. We have 2 inspectors on scene because it is a commercial aircraft, and we've also been in touch with the NTSB as well.
And you've been listening to Virginia State Police spokesperson Corinne Geller describing the balloon crash tonight. One of 3 balloons coming in for a landing apparently struck a power line, caught on fire, and as it caught fire, immediately shot up into the air because of the heat. Then the gondola separated from the fire, so we apparently have 2 crash sites. They have yet to locate both of them, and they're looking in the Caroline Pines subdivision.
Corinne Geller saying that the pilot did try to get that fire under control. She said that they have not been able to locate the victims. Earlier, it was reported that a pilot and possibly 2 passengers were on board. She also said that they're going to search throughout the night for these 2 crash sites, and they want anyone living within the or who was near the Caroline Pines subdivisions who saw anything to call state police. And we'll continue to follow this story throughout the remainder of the newscast, as well as online and throughout the weekend on CBS 6 News.
Indeed, we're still taking calls from people across the country and people who think they might know 2 or all 3 of the people on board. We're going to send it over to Zach now and find out a little bit more about the weather for today, tomorrow, and the week beyond.
Okay, weather out there is pretty quiet. We had a little round of showers and thunderstorms move through earlier this evening. We'll start you off with a lookout across downtown from our Sky Tracker Dominion camera. We're at 71 degrees. Another day in the 90s today here in Richmond. Just a few light showers around the area. All the thunderstorm activity has diminished for the evening. We've got that southwesterly flow still in place across the area. Tomorrow we'll have roughly the same type of air mass in place, but because of the cloud cover around, it's not going to be as hot as was out there for today. And today we did hit 92 degrees after a morning low of 61, missed the record by just 2 degrees, and that's 2 straight days where we've made it at least 91 or higher. Right now it's 71 degrees, dew point of 64, so a touch humid out there as well as it being very warm. Other temperatures across the area, some upper 60s back to the north and west, but most temperatures are still well into the 70s. All right, for tonight, we'll continue with this mostly cloudy skies. Could have an isolated shower or 2 out there, and then tomorrow morning, not much happening. It'll be afternoon. We'll see the atmosphere energized again by an upper level system and an approaching cold front. So we'll see some thunderstorms develop out there. If you do have afternoon plans to get out and about, just make sure you got a place to go in case one of these storms crops up. It won't rain all day everywhere, but you might need to get in from the heavy rainfall and the lightning, of course, which is going to be the main danger for tomorrow with any storms that do pop up. Now, Mother's Day looks a lot better. We're going to end up with more sunshine, a little bit warmer day, and likely pretty dry for most of us. The better rain chances will certainly be tomorrow. All right, there are your lows for tonight. Mid to upper 60s in most areas. A few spots are going to stay at about 70 degrees, so it is going to be a very warm night tonight in all areas. And then high temperatures tomorrow are going to make it into the low and mid 80s. A southwesterly breeze at 10 to 20 miles per hour, not 90s like we've seen the last couple of days because that increase in cloud cover. Considerable clouds throughout the day. Rain chances ramping up throughout the afternoon. They'll be highest mid to late afternoon into the early evening. High temperature reaches 84 tomorrow, 86 on Mother's Day with a slim chance for a shower storm, much lower chances on Sunday. Slim chance on Monday, back up in the 90s. Monday and Tuesday will be in the lower 90s. And then the rain chances come back in a big way Wednesday into Thursday. And there go the temps, dropping off into the 70s and a cool next weekend with temps likely in the low 70s.
Thank you. Minutes will take you back to Caroline County for a live update on the search for this hot air balloon police say crashed after hitting a power line. 3 people are missing. The balloon festival has been canceled. We'll be right back. Updating breaking news now. State police will be searching throughout the night for 3 people missing in a hot air balloon accident in Caroline County. That hot air balloon hitting a power line and catching fire. 3 balloons were apparently coming in for their designated landing. 2 landed safely. That 3rd one struck the power line, caught fire, and we're told by state police shot up in the air because of the heat generated from the fire. Then the gondola separated. State police say they're looking for 2 crash sites now. Again, 3 people missing, the pilot, 2 passengers. Updates online at WTVR.com and of course on CBS 6 this morning starting tomorrow at 6 a.m.